Have you ever given someone a ride on a rainy night, only to realize they never existed? The girl in the rain. The rain poured relentlessly, drenching the empty highway in a silver sheen. Jason gripped the steering wheel tighter, eyes flickering between the slick road ahead and the digital clock on his dashboard. 1:13 a.m. He hated driving this late, but overtime shifts were unavoidable. The rhythmic thudding of raindrops against his windshield and the occasional flashes of lightning made the loneliness of the night more pronounced. Then he saw her. A figure stood by the side of the road, barely illuminated by his headlights. Young woman, soaked from head to toe, her long dark hair plastered against her pale skin. She wore a white dress that clung to her frame, and despite the heavy rain, she stood perfectly still, arms at her sides, staring straight ahead. Jason hesitated. Picking up hitchhikers at this hour was a bad idea. But something about her fragility, her stillness, made him reconsider. He slowed the car and rolled down the window slightly. "Hey, do you need a ride?" he called out. She turned her head, slowly, her deep brown eyes locking onto his. A chill ran down his spine, though he wasn't sure why. "Please," she whispered. Jason unlocked the door. She slipped inside, the scent of rain and something faintly floral filling the car. She didn't shiver, didn't rub her arms for warmth, just sat there, hands folded neatly in her lap, her gaze fixed on the road ahead. "Where are you headed?" he asked, trying to shake the unease creeping into his chest. She was silent for a moment before replying in a soft voice. "Home." Jason nodded, merging back onto the road. "All right, just tell me when we get close." The drive continued in near silence. The only sounds were the rain hammering the roof and the steady hum of the engine. Jason couldn't shake the strange feeling that something was off. "You were out there all alone," he finally said. "Pretty dangerous this time of night." She didn't respond immediately. Then, so quietly he almost didn't hear, she murmured, "I've been waiting." A shiver crawled up his spine. "Waiting? For what?" She didn't answer. Instead, she reached up, brushing damp strands of hair from her face. Jason noticed then her fingernails were unusually pale, almost bluish. He swallowed, hard. "What's your name?" The girl turned slightly, her eyes finally meeting his. "Emily," she said. Jason nodded. "Nice to meet you, Emily. I'm Jason." She said nothing, just continued staring out the rain-streaked window. A road sign appeared up ahead, barely visible through the downpour. Jason slowed slightly, trying to read. "Last exit before bridge. 5 miles. He frowned. The bridge. That didn't make sense. There was nothing beyond that stretch of road except, "Turn left," Emily said suddenly. Jason's grip tightened on the wheel. "Left? That's just... I'm home now." Jason's blood turned ice cold. He slammed the brakes instinctively, the car skidding slightly on the wet road. Heart pounding, he turned to look at Emily. She was gone. The seat beside him was empty, save for a small bottle of rainwater soaking into the fabric. Jason's breath came in short, panicked gasps. He turned wildly, checking the back seat. Nothing but the lingering scent of rain and faint perfume still hung in the air. And then, from the darkness outside, came a soft, whispering voice. "Thank you for the ride." Jason's hands trembled on the wheel. When he finally dared to look in the rearview mirror, his stomach dropped. Standing outside in the rain, where she had been just moments ago, Emily. She smiled, and then she vanished. Jason's hands trembled on the steering wheel, his breath coming in short, ragged gasps. He blinked hard, hoping that when he opened his eyes, the figure outside would be gone. But when he dared to look again, nothing. The girl, Emily, had disappeared into the rain as if she had never been there. His pulse pounded in his ears. He ran a hand through his damp hair, trying to steady himself. "This isn't real," he muttered under his breath. "I'm just exhausted." Yet the evidence was undeniable. The passenger seat was still wet from where she had sat. The faint scent of something floral lingered in the air. And worst of all, Jason could still hear her voice echoing in his head. "I'm home now." He took a deep breath and glanced at the digital clock on his dashboard. 1:27 a.m. The rain continued to pour, a relentless curtain of water blurring the road ahead. He had to get out of here, fast. Shifting the car into drive, he pressed the gas, forcing himself to focus on the road. The thought of looking in his rearview mirror again made his stomach twist, so he kept his eyes locked forward. A few miles later, Jason spotted a small roadside diner. The neon sign flickered, casting an eerie red glow on the wet pavement. It wasn't much, but he needed a moment to gather himself. He pulled into the nearly empty parking lot and killed the engine. The diner was quiet, save for the soft hum of an old jukebox playing a slow country tune. A middle-aged waitress with tired eyes looked up as he entered, giving him a polite but weary nod. "Sit anywhere you like, hon," she said, wiping down a table. Jason chose a booth by the window, his back firmly against the seat. He needed to be facing the door. A few minutes later, the waitress approached with a pot of coffee. "You look like you've seen a ghost," she remarked, pouring him a cup without asking. Jason forced a weak chuckle. "Something like that." She raised an eyebrow but didn't press. Instead, she slid a laminated menu toward him. "Kitchen's still open for another hour. Let me know if you want something to eat." Jason nodded, though food was the last thing on his mind. He wrapped his hands around the warm coffee cup, hoping it would steady his nerves. For a while, he just sat there, staring out at the rain, the events of the night replayed over and over in his mind. Who was that girl? Why had she disappeared like that? And why did the name Emily feel so familiar? Jason pulled out his phone, fingers slightly unsteady as he opened his browser. He hesitated for a moment before typing, "Missing girl Emily, highway accident." A few search results popped up, mostly old news articles. He clicked on the first one, dated 5 years ago. "Local teen dies in tragic car accident near Holloway Bridge." Jason's stomach twisted as he read further. Emily Carter, 19, was found dead late at night after a suspected hit and run. Witnesses claim she was last seen walking alone on the highway during a heavy storm. Authorities never identified the driver responsible. His breath hitched. That stretch of road, the rain, it all matched. Jason scrolled down and found a grainy black and white photo attached to the article. His heart nearly stopped. It was her, the same pale face, the same long dark hair, even the same white dress. Jason swallowed hard, his mind racing. He had given a ride to a girl who had been dead for years. A sharp tap on the window made him jolt. His coffee sloshed over the rim of his cup. He turned quickly, his pulse hammering. But it was just a man in a raincoat, hurrying past to his car. Jason exhaled shakily, running a hand over his face. He needed answers, and he knew exactly where to go. He flagged down the waitress as she passed by. "Hey, do you know anything about a Holloway Bridge?" The woman paused, giving him a wary look. "Why do you ask?" "I just heard something about an accident there. A girl named Emily Carter." Her expression darkened. She set down her coffee pot and sighed. "Yeah, I remember. Poor thing. That road's been cursed ever since." Jason leaned forward. "Cursed?" She hesitated, then nodded. "People say she still walks the highway on rainy nights, looking for a ride home. And sometimes unlucky drivers pick her up, only for her to vanish before they reach the bridge." A cold shiver ran down Jason's spine. "Has anyone ever talked to her?" The waitress frowned, studying him carefully. "Why are you asking all this?" Jason hesitated. Should he tell her the truth? That he had just experienced exactly what she was describing? Before he could answer, the jukebox crackled, the music briefly cutting out. The lights above flickered once, twice, before returning to normal. A strange silence filled the diner. Then, Jason's phone vibrated. He glanced down, expecting a notification, but the screen was blank. Another vibration. This time, the screen lit up. One new message, but there was no sender. His heart pounded as he opened it. The message was short, only 3 words. "Don't forget me." Jason's breath caught in his throat. He turned to the window, and there, standing outside in the pouring rain, was Emily. She was watching him, a sad smile on her lips. Then, just like before, she was gone. Jason's fingers tightened around his phone, his pulse hammering in his ears. He stared at the screen, the message burning into his mind. "Don't forget me." A chill crept down his spine. How was this possible? His phone didn't even register a sender. It was as if the message had materialized out of thin air. He forced himself to look up. The rain continued to pound against the diner's window, distorting the view outside. Emily was gone. Again, the waitress, who had been watching him closely, hesitated before speaking. "Are you all right?" Jason opened his mouth, then closed it. How could he explain what he had just seen without sounding completely insane? He shook his head. "Yeah, just tired." The woman didn't look convinced, but she let it go. "Well, if you're heading anywhere near Holloway Bridge, I'd be careful." Jason swallowed hard. "Why?" She sighed, glancing toward the nearly empty diner as if making sure no one else was listening. Then she leaned in slightly. "People say Emily's still looking for something, or someone. Some folks think she doesn't know she's gone. Others say she's waiting for the driver who hit her." She lowered her voice. "But there's one thing I've always wondered." Jason met her gaze. "What's that?" The waitress hesitated, then said, "What if she's not looking for the person who left her there, but the one who was supposed to save her?" A shiver crawled up Jason's arms. He needed answers, and he wasn't going to find them sitting in a diner. He stood up, tossing a few bills on the table. "Thanks for the coffee," he murmured. The waitress frowned but nodded. "You take care out there, all right?" Jason gave a stiff nod and stepped out into the rain. The drive back to the highway felt longer this time. The rain blurred his vision, and every shadow seemed to stretch unnaturally beneath the streetlights. He kept glancing at the passenger seat, half expecting Emily to appear again. She didn't, but the silence in the car felt heavier, almost suffocating. Jason gritted his teeth and reached for his phone, pulling up the search results again. He needed more than just an old news article. He needed to know who Emily Carter really was. Scrolling further, he found something new. Local memorial page for Emily Carter. He clicked on it. The page was simple. A tribute filled with messages from people who had known her. Friends, family, teachers. Emily, we miss you every day. I still remember our long talks at the library. Wish I could have helped you more. Rest in peace, Em. I hope you found your way home. Jason's chest tightened. These weren't just words about a stranger. These were real people who had lost someone they cared about. Then, something caught his eye. A comment from a user named L. Carter95. I keep thinking about that night. If I had been there sooner, would it have changed anything? Jason frowned. That didn't sound like a typical memorial message. It sounded like guilt. Curious, he tapped on the profile. It led to an old blog. Most of the posts were from years ago, but one entry stood out. The night I lost my sister. Jason's breath caught in his throat. He clicked on it. It's been 5 years, and I still can't forgive myself. I was supposed to pick her up that night. She called me when the storm started, but I was running late. By the time I got there, she was gone. Jason's grip on his phone tightened. Emily hadn't just been walking alone that night. She had been waiting for someone. Her brother. He kept reading. They told me it was a hit and run, but no one ever found the driver. Sometimes I wonder if she's still out there, waiting for me, waiting for someone to bring her home. Jason's stomach twisted. The waitress's words echoed in his mind. What if she's not looking for the person who left her there, but the one who was supposed to save her? A sudden noise snapped him back to reality. His car radio crackled to life. Static filled the speakers, followed by a faint whisper. Jason. His blood ran cold. The voice was soft, distant, but unmistakable. Emily. His heart pounded as he reached for the volume knob, but before he could touch it, the voice spoke again. Don't forget me. The headlights flickered. Then, suddenly, the engine died. The car rolled to a stop on the side of the road, the only sound the relentless rain hammering against the roof. Jason's hand shook as he fumbled for the keys, trying to restart the engine. Nothing. The car was dead. And then, in the dim glow of his dashboard, a single word appeared on his phone screen. Bridge. Jason swallowed hard. He knew what he had to do. Taking a deep breath, he grabbed his flashlight from the glove compartment and pushed the car door open. Rain drenched him instantly, soaking through his clothes. The wind howled, making it hard to see, but he knew the bridge wasn't far. He started walking. The road felt longer than he remembered, the darkness pressing in on all sides. Every step felt heavier, as if something unseen was watching him. Then, up ahead, he saw it, the Holloway Bridge. His breath hitched. The structure loomed before him, its metal beams slick with rain. The air felt different here, colder, heavier. Jason took a cautious step forward. Emily, he called out, his voice barely carrying over the storm. Silence. Then, a flicker of movement near the railing. Jason's breath caught as he saw her. Emily stood at the edge of the bridge, her white dress clinging to her frame, hair dripping with rain. She turned slowly, her dark eyes locking onto his. For the first time, Jason saw something in them. Not fear, not anger, sadness, regret. He took a shaky step forward. "Emily, I know what happened." Her lips parted slightly, but she said, "Nothing." Jason swallowed. "Your brother, he was supposed to pick you up that night, wasn't he?" Emily blinked, and for a moment, the rain seemed to still. A tear slid down her cheek, indistinguishable from the raindrops. Jason's voice softened. "You weren't alone. He never forgot you." Emily's gaze lowered. Her fingers trembled. Then she whispered, "I just wanted to go home." Jason's chest tightened. He took another step closer. Then, "Let's go," he said gently. "It's time." Emily hesitated. For the first time, she looked uncertain. But then, the wind shifted, the rain slowed, and Emily, she smiled. Soft, grateful. Then, just like that, she was gone. The air around Jason grew warmer, the storm finally easing. His phone buzzed. A new message. This time, there was a name attached. Liam Carter. "Thank you." Jason let out a shaky breath. He looked up at the empty bridge, knowing that Emily had finally found her way home. And for the first time that night, the road ahead felt clear. Jason stood motionless on the bridge, the cold night air wrapping around him. His heart pounded as he read the message again. Liam Carter. "Thank you." For a long moment, he simply stared at the screen, his fingers trembling. This wasn't just some random glitch. Liam Carter, Emily's brother, had reached out. But how? Did he somehow know what had happened tonight? Jason took a deep breath, his mind racing. The rain had finally eased, leaving the road glistening under the dim glow of the streetlights. The world felt different now, lighter, as if some unseen weight had been lifted. But something still didn't feel right. He glanced around. The bridge was silent, empty. Emily was gone. And yet, Jason couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't over. His phone buzzed again. Another message from Liam. "Where are you?" Jason hesitated before replying. "Holloway Bridge." "Why?" The response came almost instantly. "Stay there. I'm coming." Jason frowned. He hadn't expected that. Why would Liam want to meet him here in the middle of the night? He glanced at the bridge railing where Emily had stood just moments ago. A part of him wanted to leave, to put this entire night behind him. But another part, an instinct he couldn't ignore, told him to stay. So he waited. 15 minutes later, headlights cut through the darkness. A black sedan pulled up, and a man stepped out. He looked to be in his late 20s, his face weary but sharp. His dark hair was damp from the lingering mist, and there was something haunted in his eyes. Jason knew even before he spoke that this was Liam Carter. Liam approached cautiously, his gaze scanning Jason before shifting toward the bridge. "You saw her, didn't you?" Liam's voice was steady, but there was an undeniable weight behind his words. Jason nodded. "Yeah, I picked her up on the highway. She thought she was going home." Liam exhaled, running a hand through his hair. "She's been lost for years." Jason hesitated before asking, "Why did you come here?" Liam was silent for a moment, then pulled out his phone. "Because of this." He held up the screen. Jason leaned in. and his breath caught. It was a message from Emily's old number. "I'm home now." Jason's stomach twisted. That's what she said before she vanished. Liam gave a hollow chuckle. "Yeah, she's been sending me that same message every year on this exact night. But this time, I think she meant it." Jason's mind reeled. Emily had been reaching out to her brother all along, but why tonight? Why now? Then another thought struck him. "Do you know who hit her that night?" Jason asked carefully. Liam's jaw tightened. No one was ever caught. The police ruled it a hit and run. But I never believed that. Jason frowned. "What do you mean?" Liam hesitated. Then, in a low voice, he said, "Emily was careful. She wouldn't have just wandered into the road. And there was something else. Something the police never made public." Jason waited, his pulse quickening. Liam's voice dropped even lower. "They found tire marks near the scene, but they weren't from a car losing control. They were deliberate, like someone had stopped and then driven away." Jason's blood ran cold. "You think someone did it on purpose?" Liam didn't answer right away. Instead, he reached into his jacket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. He handed it to Jason. Jason unfolded it carefully. It was an old police report. Most of it was standard information, but one section had been highlighted. Eyewitness reports indicate a dark-colored truck was seen leaving the area at high speed shortly after the accident. Jason's hands tightened around the paper. A dark truck. His stomach twisted. He drove a dark truck. A terrible thought crept into his mind, one he didn't want to consider. "Liam." Jason's voice was barely above a whisper. "What if I was there that night?" Liam's eyes narrowed. "What?" Jason swallowed hard. "I don't remember that night. 5 years ago, I was driving through this area. It was storming. Was exhausted. I could have been the one who saw her." Liam took a slow step closer. "Jason, are you saying?" Jason shook his head quickly. "No, I swear I didn't hit her. But what if I was there? What if I saw something and didn't even realize it?" Liam's expression was unreadable. Then, after a long pause, he exhaled. "There's only one way to know for sure." Jason's pulse pounded. "How?" Liam looked toward the bridge. "Emily." Jason's breath caught. "You think she'll tell us?" Liam nodded. "She reached out to you for a reason. Maybe she wanted you to find me. Maybe she wanted us both here." Jason swallowed. The air around them felt heavier, charged with something unseen. Then the wind shifted, and from the darkness a voice whispered, soft but unmistakable, "Jason." Jason's heart nearly stopped. He turned slowly, and there she was, Emily. She stood at the edge of the bridge, her expression calm, almost peaceful. The rain had stopped completely now, the silence stretching between them. Jason took a shaky step forward. "Emily, we need to know the truth." Emily's gaze flickered toward Liam, then back to Jason. Her lips parted, and then the world around them seemed to shift. Jason blinked, and suddenly he was somewhere else. The storm was raging again. Thunder rumbled overhead, and on the side of the road, a girl stood alone in the rain. Emily. She looked younger, her arms wrapped around herself. She was waiting, looking down the road expectantly. Then, headlights appeared. A vehicle approaching, fast. Jason's breath caught. He recognized that truck. His own truck. He was here that night. The memory crashed over him in a wave of nausea. He had been driving through the storm, barely able to see. He had spotted Emily, but he hadn't stopped. He had been too tired, too focused on getting home. And just as he passed, another set of headlights appeared. A second vehicle. A dark sedan. Jason watched, helpless, as the car swerved toward Emily. And then, everything went black. Jason gasped as he was pulled back into the present. Emily was still standing before him, her dark eyes filled with something between sorrow and understanding. "It wasn't you," she whispered. Jason exhaled shakily, his whole body trembling. But before he could speak, Emily turned to Liam. Her voice was softer now. "You were never too late." Liam's breath hitched, his eyes glistened. "Emily," she smiled, gently. "I'm home now." And with that, she faded into the night. The air grew still. Jason and Liam stood in silence, the weight of the past finally settling. And for the first time in 5 years, Emily was at peace. Jason and Liam stood motionless on the bridge, their breaths shallow, their hearts pounding. The night air was still, as if the world itself had paused to acknowledge what had just happened. Emily was gone, but this time, Jason knew she wasn't lost anymore. Liam wiped a hand over his face, exhaling shakily. "Did that really just happen?" Jason nodded, still staring at the spot where Emily had stood just moments ago. "Yeah, I think she finally found peace." Liam looked toward the sky, his expression conflicted. "For years, I blamed myself. I thought if I had gotten there sooner, she would still be alive." His voice cracked. "But she never held it against me, did she?" Jason shook his head. "No, she just wanted to go home." Silence stretched between them, the weight of 5 years of unanswered questions, of grief and guilt, now lifted. Finally, Liam let out a deep breath. "I don't know why she appeared to you, but I'm glad she did." Jason hesitated. "I think I was meant to remember." Liam frowned. "Remember what?" Jason turned toward the empty road. "That night, I was there." Liam stiffened. "What?" Jason swallowed hard. "I didn't hit her, but I saw her. I drove past her in the rain. I didn't stop because I thought she was just walking home." His voice dropped. But there was another car, a dark sedan. Liam's face darkened. "The one from the police report." Jason nodded. "I saw its headlights in my mirror right after I passed her, but I was too tired to think anything of it at the time. Then I heard about her accident the next day and..." He trailed off, his stomach twisting. Liam clenched his fists. "You think that car?" Jason exhaled. "I don't think it was just an accident." The words hung in the air like an unspoken truth neither of them wanted to acknowledge. Liam stared at the ground. The police said there were no witnesses. But if you saw that car... He looked up, determination flashing in his eyes. Maybe it's not too late to find out who was driving. Jason met his gaze. "Do you still have the case files?" Liam nodded. "Yeah, I never stopped looking." Jason took a deep breath. "Then let's finish this." A few days later, Jason met Liam at a small coffee shop on the outskirts of town. The weight of their encounter with Emily still lingered, but now there was something else, a need for closure. Liam placed a folder on the table. This is everything I have. Police reports, witness statements, accident photos. Jason flipped through the pages, his eyes scanning for anything that stood out. Then, something caught his attention. A statement from a truck driver who had been on the highway that night. I saw a black sedan stopped on the side of the road around midnight. Thought it was a breakdown, but when I slowed down, the driver took off fast, like he didn't want to be seen. Jason's pulse quickened. This witness, did the police ever follow up? Liam shook his head. No, they chalked it up to bad weather and lack of evidence. Jason frowned. But what if that driver wasn't just passing through? What if they knew Emily? Liam's expression darkened. Then we need to find out who was driving that car. They spent hours combing through records, searching for any connection between Emily and the vehicle from that night. It wasn't until Jason came across an old yearbook photo that something clicked. A name, Daniel Hensley. Jason frowned. Who's this? Liam's face went pale. No, it can't be. Jason looked up. You know him? Liam nodded slowly. He was Emily's ex-boyfriend. A chill crept down Jason's spine. Was he ever questioned? Liam clenched his jaw. No, they broke up months before she died, so the police never considered him a suspect. Jason's hands tightened around the paper. But if he was still in town that night, Liam didn't hesitate. We need to talk to him. Finding Daniel wasn't hard. He still lived in town, working at a small auto shop near the highway. When Jason and Liam arrived, they found him outside, wiping grease from his hands. He looked up, his expression unreadable. Liam, haven't seen you in years. Liam's jaw tightened. We need to talk. Daniel hesitated. About what? Jason stepped forward. About Emily. A flicker of something crossed Daniel's face. Guilt. Fear. It was gone before Jason could be sure. Daniel sighed. I already told the police everything I know. Liam narrowed his eyes. Then why was your car seen near the scene of the accident? Daniel stiffened. Jason caught the subtle movement, the way his fingers twitched, the way his posture tensed. You were there, Jason said quietly. Weren't you? Daniel's eyes darted between them. I don't know what you're talking about. Liam's voice was sharp. Don't lie to me. Silence. Then, Daniel exhaled, his shoulders slumping. I didn't mean for it to happen. Jason's stomach twisted. Liam's hands clenched into fists. Tell me the truth. Daniel swallowed hard. I was driving that night. I saw her walking. His voice faltered. I just wanted to talk to her. Jason felt his breath hitch. Daniel continued, his voice shaking. She wouldn't listen. She kept walking. I got frustrated, pulled over. But then, his voice broke. She stepped back, right into the road. Liam's eyes burned with anger. And you just left her there. Daniel's face crumpled. I panicked. I didn't know what to do. I thought someone else would stop. Jason's hands curled into fists. Liam took a step forward, his expression unreadable. Do you know what you took from me? Daniel looked away. I never wanted this. I never wanted to hurt her. Liam inhaled sharply. But you did. Silence. Then Jason spoke. You need to go to the police. Daniel looked up. fear flashing in his eyes. "It's been 5 years. What difference does it make now?" Liam's voice was cold. "It makes a difference to her." Daniel hesitated. Then, finally, he nodded. "I'll go." A week later, the news broke. Daniel Hensley had confessed to leaving Emily on the road that night. While the statute of limitations for some charges had passed, he would still face legal consequences. But for Jason and Liam, the real victory wasn't in punishment, was in the truth. The night Emily died had haunted them both for years, but now she was finally at peace. And for the first time, Jason felt like he could be, too. As he stood at Holloway Bridge one last time, the wind whispered around him, soft and familiar. A single raindrop landed on his hand, and somewhere in the distance he swore he heard a voice. "Thank you." Jason smiled. "You're welcome." And with that, he walked away, knowing Emily had finally made it home.